The Rohrig Tarot is rather unique when it comes to tarot cards, because of all these things where they have the note papers. Without the note papers, as part of it, are the lettering. You might not get it. I mean, which card's which? Particularly when you're dealing with the trumps. Now, I mean, the lettering without the label would make clear which ones are the trumps. And I understand the usage of the runes that he chose. Now, this Fool, obviously, that's going to, and it becomes more readily apparent which cards are which when you're talking about the pips. But even the court cards, and the court cards have your typical princess, prince, queen, knight layout. Now, knight would imply an Aleister Crowley influence. The 2, 5, and 9 of Cups among the aces and pips sort of need labeled for most people to tell which cards they are, even knowing the name of all the cards. The 7 of Swords and the 8 of Discs also have that problem. And the scenes are very moving in that they do sort of connect to the themes, although the 8 of Swords having 2 topless women and some dude on a chair representing choices, I don't think a guy in that position needs to make a choice, does he? I mean, they're both there, right? The 9 of Discs in the art we see sort of shows like the gang is by what we're witnessing. The 10 of Discs shows that the wealth is more in terms of variety. The 6 and 7 of Discs would show that one's placement in relation to the spheres would indicate the difference between success and failure. The 8 of Discs via the drawing would indicate that the virtue, the prudence, is more than just some outer thing. It's some auric sort of trace going on. The 4 of Discs would be, projection. The 3 of Discs would be burden. The 2 would be movement, sort of dynamic, much like the 4 is. And the 6, for that matter. The Ace, sort of a finding a place, but not in the way of the 4th, but finding a place more distinct and looking out ahead or behind, or the 10 of Swords would be more of a psychological sort of break. The 9 seems to be more emotional. The 8 of Swords, the cost of being split, and perhaps things aren't as rich and are a bit more empty than one thinks they are. The 2 and 4 of Swords also indicate some sort of a journey, right? But the 2 would indicate maybe a disconnected piece. The 4 would indicate a peaceful acceptance, a presence, as it were. The 1, 3, and 5 of Swords seems to have a memorial sort of feel going on. The 7 of Swords is like the big adventure, but I guess it's something, or the big challenge, the beast you have to face. But it's something you can go through in one way or another, right? The 6 of Swords is kind of like the yoga versus tantra argument, I guess you could say. 2 ways towards sort of the same, but a little bit different direction, more of a inner direction more than anything else, or, not so material in terms of what you'd recognize there. The 5 of Swords would be the collective ruin, and the 3 of Swords would be the personal ruin. The Ace of Swords would be the identification that starts the whole thing. Or the connecting to the myth that starts the whole thing. What, the 10 of Cups is supposed to be society? It's given a feminine feel, I guess, because of the breast on it. The 9 of Cups is the distinction of that experience that you're all, yes, this is what I want. The 8 of Cups would be sort of the decay or damage that can happen. The 7 of Cups would be the illusion that is failing. The 6 of Cups would be the memory of the good things that have gone by, particularly when you were notably younger. The 3 of Cups is an abundance that you can control. The 4 of Cups is an abundance sort of beyond what you can control, but seemingly more appreciable, right? And the desire, the relationship, is the 2 of Cups, but why? The Ace of Cups is the vehicle, but a fullness. The 10 of Wands is sort of makes itself like an emptiness, but you're a there-ness. But before you lament of what could have been and the oppression of being manifested rather than other things, we arrived at the 8 of Cups. The 8 of Wands as sort of a sign of the, the blurred, distracted, scatteredness of being. The 7 of Wands is, can you make it past the gaps in what you know or what you desire or what you plan or whatnot? The 6 of Wands is sort of a taking part in that, in the spaces between. The 5 of Wands is an uprising. a filling of the gap. A Four of Wands is a framing of vision. A Three of Wands is directing the energy. The Two of Wands is what's waiting. The Ace of Wands is the potential. Now, one of my favorite court cards is the Princess of Cups. I don't just say that because of the individual, and I'm not really relating any of these cards to the individuals that I've given the nicknames of the cards, just the deck itself. The Knight of Discs is modern. The Queen of Discs is ancient. The Prince of Discs is meticulous. The Princess of Discs is fertile, athletic. The King of Swords is obscure. The Queen of Swords is facetious. The Prince of Swords is confrontive, and the Princess of Swords is irritable. The Knight of Cups is romantic. The Queen of Cups is depressive. The Prince of Cups is angry. The Princess of Cups is playful. The Knight of Wands is abstract. The Queen of Wands is secretive. The Prince of Wands is detached. The Princess of Wands is lost in the moment. The trumps are a bit more detailed. The Devil, for example, is he's a mystery. Temperance is an artist that regards, like, the science of the whole thing.